Funland's been one of those parks that I've just fallen in love with Planet Coaster 2 over, and I don't think I'll ever truly be done with this park. But, you know, there's a lot of work that happens on it when I'm kind of bored working on other projects. I come here and I do more with it. And I think that it's cool because it constantly evolves as a park. And today, I kind of want to take you on a bit of a tour all around the park and show you all the fun things I've added. Because, you know, since attaching Coaster Hallow to the park, a lot has changed in how this park looks and is laid out. Landing here in the lobby, we have this great view of the surrounding area. We have this fantastic view here of Whiplash. Whiplash is painted some special colors in honor of Pride Month. I thought it'd be cool to at least do something at the front of the park for Pride, and I think that painting the coaster as close to a rainbow as I could, it kind of looks pretty neat, to be honest, and we'll take a little bit of a closer look at that whenever we get around to that side of the park. But here, coming into the entrance, you have two choices, and that is the original Funland gate, or you have a choice of going through to the pier, which is off to the right. So as we make our choice and we go through this left-hand side, our intention really is probably to go to the Glade, which will be on your left and forward, but I kind of got mixed around as I turned to look to see if the train would come through. And I saw Bubba Wax Seafood Shack, which is like one of my favorite community build things. One of them, there's so many. There's MarVG in 3D right here, which is so fun, so cool. Those were great projects to work on. Here's a little sneak peek of something that's coming up later in the park. It's a pretty cool addition. Headed down here, we see the pier, which is awesome. This whole entryway to the pier, and now I believe those are actual circles on the ground because that cutout tool got a lot better. And then Cold Sore's kissing booth, of course. And all these shops have little quirks. This has free hats. If you see an octopus hat anywhere in the park, that guest has been to Cold Sore's kissing booth. There's a hidden hat shop with only one choice in it, and those hats aren't available at any other part of the park. And right here on the right would be Water Avenue. This is where you kind of enter the pier, the original pier. It's kind of the back of the lake. If you remember way back to the first Planet Coaster 2 videos on my channel, there was a lot with making that waterway, and then there was just kind of a path around it. I think that might even have showed up in episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. Here's a great view of the bay, though, from these picnic tables. I wanted a nice area you could kind of sit down and enjoy yourself without being too much in the way of the crowds, but it doesn't seem like the crowds travel too much through this part. Backtracking all the way around to the Water Avenue entrance again, I have loved putting in tiny details into this park. And up ahead here on the right used to be the pool, and I've changed it now to Whiplash. And the background story is that there was a whirlpool, it sucked up all the guests in 2024, and poof, the crystal pool was no more. Staff filled it in with some concrete and dirt and built Whiplash on top of it. And here we'll see if we can get a little bit of a closer detail on the trains. That's as close to a rainbow as I can color them, but I think they still look cool. And honestly, all brightly colored, this coaster screams "Don't take me serious," but it kind of is. There's the train. Traveling down here now, you can see Skimmer bopping around on the water there. And then you would go here to the right and go further into the pier. Which I believe that this area, I think, is so laid back, and I've never really felt like it was complete, but I've loved the way it looked, to be honest. I always have. And of course, over here is some more great views of Skimmer. Here was the Ferris wheel at the one time. I have changed that since to be this splashdown ride. And the train entrance over here. This is called the pier entrance to the train, and it is gifted by Marvy G. At the original end of Funland, I offered community members on the Discord, which link is always in the description. Come join us. That Discord kind of thing I wanted to do with each park, which is offer people a chance to come in and add something. So a few people really did. They came through. They either supplied some blueprints or they supplied the actual, stuff. And here, this coaster is supplied by Loop-de-Loop Coasters. I don't think it's rideable yet. It's still a work in progress. It needs some custom supports. But you can kind of see how you can look through. And I'm big on sightlines. I love the sightlines. And I know I glossed over the water ride back there and just kind of showed it off to you and didn't talk about it much. But trust me, it's an upcoming project and I think it's worth it. Just so that you know, this was the Wild Mouse Coaster's home, right here next to Wild Thing. And there is another Coaster Hallow entrance right there, but I want to take the Coaster Hallow entrance that's proper, because it comes with a bonus. So if we're heading back towards the center of the park, the middle zone, we go to the right instead, and we come to what used to be a lonely pathway, but is now a very heavy thoroughway. We pass Party Time on the right, and Coaster Hallow arrow is pointed in the wrong direction, but you come through the actual Coaster Hallow entrance here, and Nevermore just towers over the entire area, and the train does multiple laps back and forth over the path, which creates a really cool atmosphere. Really cool. It's a lot of fun to be here in this part. There's more of the train and Nevermore and Inferno. Everything towers over you in this area. And that's the vibe I was going for. But I think you guys haven't read the Inferno here in quite a long time. So we're going to go up the exit because we can do that. And I think we're going to get on the ride here. I think you guys would like a POV of the ride. I'm sure you would like a POV of the ride. We just have to wait for a train to get in the station here. There it is. I think, honestly, this ride is one of my favorites. Built by Loop-de-Loop Coasters. This ride has a cool, or hot Inferno vibe to it. And a lot of little goofy sayings on signs. There it is, slow down the end, exit to your right. That is a great ride. And this station I think is really cool. And I think it's one of my first attempts to fully theme out something. But here we are popping right out at the exit. Generally I get completely disoriented as to where I'm at when I pop out of these rides, because I don't routinely ride them while I'm playing. It's not like something I do. But yeah, across the street here is Nevermore. This is my first attempt at this type of coaster. And I think it's a really good attempt, in my opinion. I think MarVG is the one who really pushed for like the whole Nevermore theme, the Ravens, Hark the Raven, Nevermore. Yeah. So I think it's a really good choice. Apparently I cannot clip through these, so just enjoy this queue line footage. Let's take a ride on Nevermore. I think this ride has a lot to offer as far as some of the forces and the views. I have to try to remember that in Planet Coaster 2, there's 2 ways you can work with a coaster. And the first way is that you acknowledge the fact that the forces aren't felt by the viewer of the video, which is often what I do. I do it more for the visual of what you can see on the screen because I do YouTube content. But a lot of people, when they do, quote, realistic coasters, they often add in the forces anyway, including complete pitch black scenes. And it does nothing for the viewer of the video, but you can sort of imagine the forces then on the person. Well, there you go. I think it's a pretty good ride, to be honest with you, and I think it has a lot of neat sight lines. When we get off the ride here, the exit faces right down the barrel of this beautiful twisted bit of track right here. And the coaster comes from multiple directions into this and interacts with it. So it's a little bit of a labyrinth to figure out how to position yourself and when to get the best view that you want. But it's so worth it. You can see multiple coasters through those loops. Heading down the steps here, we're also going to encounter the Inferno coaster again. So it kind of went where we encountered both coasters twice. But that's because we're facing into a common walkway. So we're going to go up here past this roundup ride, which it's so cool because it's so close to the path. And there we go. I kind of skipped ahead because I originally tried to ride the Giga in the back there made by Loop-de-Loop Coasters, and I screwed up. It's full of trees all over the track. There's also that coaster back there. It's made by Comet. It will be something that I get to in a little bit. It's not going to be immediately. That whole back part of the park is going to get worked on. You can see here me kind of eyeballing and admiring it. Yeah, that's because I'm going to work on that whole thing. Back here is Steampunk Spectacle made by MarVG, and to be honest with you, you need to go check out this previous video. Previous videos for this whole entire series, this park, are all down in the description of the video here. All you gotta do is drop it down and pick the one you like and go back. I recommend the playlist, to be honest. You can skip around, you can skip through if you really get bored, but I think it's a great look at how the park was built, evolved, and kind of became what it is today. MarVG is nothing short of imaginative, and this coaster is nothing short of imagination. This coaster is so awesome. It's a little coaster inside of a building. It's something I've always wanted in the game, and Marvy, I think, knows that and delivered. It was a surprise with the Steampunk Spectacle ride that he installed up on the hill. And like I said, go check those videos out. His build style is so complex. And he's actually starting his YouTube channel up. And I have that down in the description. If you want your YouTube channel in the description, drop me a DM on Discord. Absolutely no promises, but if I like it, I might drop it in there. I give you a shout out as an @ I encourage you to go check all of them out after you've watched a couple more of my Willow Grove videos so you understand where it's come from. And many of them down in the description have also made Willow Grove videos or have contributed to my parks. And rounding this corner here, this kind of takes you on the back side of Coaster Hallow, and underneath the coaster here from Loopy on the other side there, the Giga. And then this coaster here above us, which is from, I believe, Comet. And this coaster will be, we originally thought maybe like Looney Tunes themed. Not 100% sure on that, but I might do some cartoony theme to it, just to liven this area up. And these shops are just placeholders. There will be tons of shops, plus middle of the path stuff, and gardens and attractions, and little getaways and stuff. This whole area is going to get so full of things. And here is Viper. Viper was at the back of Coaster Hallow. I moved it over here so it kind of straddles the mountain between Coaster Hallow and the back part of the pier. And I thought that was a fitting way to fill that space. I'm probably going to build a wooden coaster back here somewhere too. So what I want you guys to do in the comments is suggest to me if I build another RMC or if I build a wooden coaster, a classic wooden, or a side friction, something old school back there. But here's this whole waterway. I love this waterway. The train got this major revamp, and whenever I'm completely done like finalizing the whole thing with the train, I'm going to give you guys a POV ride on it, probably over on Cosmic. It'll be a nice set to music kind of thing. Of course, the go-karts here under Inferno. And the pathway back out comes back around by the water coaster, the temple coaster at the back of the pier. So you have to go underneath Viper here. And Viper has a beautiful view from this walkway. I'm just going to say it. I love that so much. And it would have been a cool moment for a train to go by. We have to admit that out loud. Of course. Let me know what you guys think of the video so far. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I think this type of content is something that I'm going to continue making. But I've done a lot of soul searching with YouTube lately, honestly. And it's something where I'm going to have to really think long term. And I think these kind of park tours, the spotlights, the stories that I've been doing, I think those have a lot of potential for the park. But we're going to take a left here at the back of Mystic Timbers and go back into the pier briefly to head into the middle of the park so we can go to the Glade. But I wanted to show you Skimmer first. Before we head back there, Medusa's Lair finally has a pizza place in it. That was one of the first things I built, and that's one of the first things I didn't finish. So there's a test seat outside Skimmer. I'm kind of working on my test seats. Don't judge too hard, but it is cool to have one. And it is modeled after the seat on Skimmer, roughly, as close as I could get it. Skimmer's going through its routine. Why don't we cut to where we were on the ride? Oh yeah, and I most definitely did not just sit there for several minutes waiting for that cart to get all the way back so I could ride, but through the magic of editing, here we are. Enjoy your ride here on Skimmer. There is a great ride on Skimmer. I absolutely love this coaster. It was one of my first like water-based coasters, and I just completely clipped through that staff member's head if you saw that. But yeah, so it's a cool coaster. Going back here to the right, we're going to get a first look at Mystic Timber's new loading station. It's kind of like the show building before the loading station. Here's a little stage. And then remember there was a different building here on the right? It kind of had a combined gift shop in it. Well, it's changed now to Mystic Tempest. Sorry, I said Timbers, it used to be. Now it's Mystic Tempest since it got a bigger lift hill and a little bit of a faster speed. But I'm going to fill this whole thing in with show building stuff. You know, props and set pieces and lighting. And we're just going to skip over top of all this. And over top of all this. But you can see this building's got a lot of potential. And we're going to go into the line here. Here we are riding Mystic Tempest. I think this is a really good coaster. I think this is one of my best wooden coasters in my opinion, but it does get some heavy G's, especially at the very end. I borrowed Phoenix's trick of just nothing but downhill with some bunny hills in the second half of the ride. It is a ride that has a great second half, so enjoy. As we hit the first set of brakes, we now round the corner, head into the station. And is this me lining my audio up, or am I describing what's happening on the screen? No one will ever know, right? Yeah, so jumping off this ride, I think that, you know, I got myself a little screwed up as far as where I was at in the game. I'm not sure how it happened, but let me jump right back into that camera mode. Exiting the ride down this pathway used to lead you to the back of the gift shop. I'm going to rebuild it, but its own independent building. And poof, through the magic of editing, we are back at the stage right around where the exit would come up to the path. Then we're going to head over in this direction here, which leads us to the middle of the park. And I want to do a bit of a memorial to my park that I accidentally covered up or deleted, which was Willow Grove. And I want to build like a little memorial, maybe like a screenshot on that movie screen and a plaque that talks about what happened. But if I skirt around this front side, I'm back in that middle plaza, and this time I'm going to go left, and this is the Glade. Here's Blue Sky, which goes right up and over top of the entryway along the Ferris wheel there, and a little bit of a lake. And of course Gravel Gulch on the right, but look how Blue Sky just skims across the top of your head while you're standing here. It is so awesome. When designing this park, I've really tried to make sure anytime you're looking up, you're looking at something, or you're looking at a spectacle of some kind. On the right is Gravel Gulch, and on the left is the Wild Mouse ride. But I really get fixated on Gravel Gulch when I'm here. But yeah, here's the Wild Mouse ride. I mean, eventually, I'm going to take you for a ride on it. It's not yet, though. It still needs some custom supports, and it needs a whole lot of other work like theming and some goofy stuff. I think I want to design characters for it. I'm not entirely sure, but this is where the lodge was. If you go back to one of those episodes with this section, you can see the lodge sitting here. I could never really do anything with it. I wanted to put the Wild Mouse inside of it, and that would offer me like maximum lighting control too, but it's okay. Wild Mouse really should be outdoors. Should be. And then here is where you would get this fantastic view of Gravel Gulch if you get lucky and it passes over your head. And Jukebox Twist on your left. Of course, this coaster is great. Someday I will finish that ending scene to look like Happy Days. I promise you, RVG, I will do that for you. And here's Chase. Chase is a nice ground coaster. It's fairly fast. I didn't even realize too, like Gravel Gulch is open. I noticed it right here. So why I couldn't see any carts on the track for quite a long time. It was weird. It was weird. I wonder if they were waiting for a staff member. But that line's insane, so we're going to keep on going. And here I'm playing with the natural invisible path, so I'm making like a natural path. Almost like it was an area guests have always walked through, and then the park sort of just gave up and let them by making it safer and more official. And then things spawned to life over here. We have a whole entire replica to King Coaster. It's just an Enterprise ride, I believe, but it has King Coaster attached to it, a big screen of King Coaster. Then there's all these shops, and of course this great view of this looping coaster here. And this little alleyway is one of my favorite little parts of the park. And this is a great place to bring the tour pretty much to an end. We got a little bit more of a tour left here. But here on the left is Comet's contribution to the park. And I've always loved this. Comet, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much for this. It is so awesome. Someday I'll remember the name of it too. And there's a great shot of Nevermore behind it. And this is kind of the transitionary point where you would go several different ways into several sections. All in all, I think that this park is one of my favorites, and it's something that I'm going to work on probably until the day I quit playing Planet Coaster 2. Funland and Coaster Hallow are such a great place to hang out and such a great place to tour. And if you want to spotlight this park, feel free. Come to the Discord. All my parks have share codes. They're also on my workshop, you know, on the game, but just come to the Discord. You can check it out. If you're not subscribed here, it would be awesome if you subscribed and to hit like on the video no matter who you are, and drop me a comment and share your thoughts. I love to interact. But yeah, I think this park is great. You have to leave me your thoughts about it. This is Planko and Chill. Keep your arms and legs inside the car at all times. Later.